The secret to keeping calm and collected under high pressure situations in your match play is not actually anything to do with you hitting the ball. It has to do with rituals. Do you have them? Do you really understand how important they are to your tennis game? We're going to look at some examples of using rituals on the serve and return that are huge and will make your match play situations, especially under those pressure situations, much more calm and collected. I took a few clips of Ian and Kevin playing over the past year, and we're going to look at the serve first, because that's the one thing you notice when you're watching the pros and in any type of match play situations. The high-level players always have some sort of ritual, whether it's bouncing the ball or a specific amount of times, whether Sharapova, she does the thing behind her ear and then bounces the ball really slow twice. Everyone kind of has something that they can fall back on. That's why a ritual is so important. It's being able to have control in a situation where you actually feel like you may not have control and you have that pressure coming at you in that tight situation. So here, as you can see, Kevin's going to walk up to the line, and the first thing that he's going to do is get his body set, and you're going to see two bounces. Kevin always does two bounces, a small pause, and then goes into his service motion. Now, it doesn't matter what your ritual is. Mine is 3 bounces. Kevin's is 2 bounces. And like I said, Sharapova has the hair behind the ear, and then the 2 bounces. The point is that when you step up to the line, you have something that you can fall back on. The serve is so important, and it starts off the point, and you can dictate the point from the serve. And I think sometimes we forget how important the serve really is. And having a ritual that you can fall back on and that you do every single time will help you to keep that calmness that is really critical to you playing at your highest levels. Here's another example of Kevin on the other side of the court. You can see 1, 2, a little breather, looks up, and then goes into his service motion. The whole important part about the ritual is keeping it the same every single time. That's what makes it a true ritual and something that you can fall back on. Here's the very next point. Same thing, 2 bounces, a little pause, looks up, and goes into the service motion. We can go through 1,000 clips of Kevin serving, and most likely we're going to find that specific ritual for him. He comes up to the line, he might do a couple other things, but when he gets into the mindset, it is 2 bounces, a little breather, and then going up into his service notion. Now, one of the things, you see this a lot, and it's very noticeable with the pros, especially when they're serving, because it's something that we see, and it's, you have the very distinct ones like Sharapova that we talked about. But it's also really important to have a ritual on the return side. You have Nadal picking his butt as one of the famous ones out there, but it's really important for you to have something that you'd use in practice and in match play. And we often look at the serve, but don't actually think about the return rituals, which again are just as important. So if we go back to this very last clip, you'll see with Ian now, let's keep all the focus here. Ian gets into a wide stance, he sways back and forth, and then right as Kevin's going into the swing, he's going to take a step forward and split. And you're going to see Ian do that ritual, come up, wide stance, a little sway, and then right into the step forward and split step, and then play out the point. So you're going to see the same thing here, a little sway back and forth with the legs really in that wider stance, and then he's going to go into the step and split and ready for the return. One more, same thing, gets that wider base, sways back and forth, gets ready for Kevin to serve, takes the step forward and split. So the importance is not what you do, but that it's that you do something that's repeatable and comfortable to you. Again, rituals are all about having you be able to feel like you can have some control in what's happening in an uncontrollable situation. So when you're on the court, you can't control whether you shank a ball sometimes, whether you make an error, whether your opponent shanks a ball and hits a drop shot. I mean, you can anticipate as much as possible, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. But a ritual helps you to have something that you can come back to and have that control in a very pressure situation. And they're essential when you are, in a tight situation like 30-40 match point or 40-30 match point. All those things I have found in my own game that rituals are something that I fall back on and really keep my focus towards those rituals, and it can really kind of keep you in that really calmed mindset. So it's really important there. Now, not only are there rituals for serve and return, there's also stuff in between points, as in putting the racket in your left hand, looking at your strings, going back to get the towel. All of those things are rituals, and finding one that is specific to your serve, one that's specific to your return is the start. Only the starts. There are many more, like I said, in between points, but those two are the start to you really leveling up your game and understanding how important those rituals are to improvement when you're in your match play situations.